What's up, guys? Welcome to another Summoners War Chronicles video. This video is going to be focused on Rei In Raids, one of the collab units coming in the Evangelion collab that's happening right now in Summoners War Chronicles. I wanted to check this unit out mainly because I think this unit is actually pretty viable and actually pretty cool. So I ruined her up. Made her level 100. We're gonna go through her skills and we're gonna go through all the places I think she's pretty viable to use it in, and I'm actually gonna use her in some content so you guys can see an example of Rei in action. So if you guys like this video, make sure to subscribe to the channel, make sure to hit the like button, and let's get into the video. Alright, so for starters, I make sure to get her affection level to level 4 so she can get the extra effects and just the extra stats. Also, I ruined her up. As you can see, she is on a full energy set. I think the best rune set for her is pretty much either pure energy or a mixture of energy and guard, because you primarily want to make sure that Rei is tanky. She's not really a damage dealer, and I'm gonna show you why she's not really a damage dealer. Let's go through her skills. Her first skill is a defensive stance. She grants herself defense up. I will show you in action why this is pretty important to know and why I think you should not build her on crit damage, because I was considering doing it and it wasn't. I mean, if you, I'll put her on a HP crit damage set just to see her damage, but don't put her on that set. Put her on 1000%. Put her on tank stats. So we have defensive stance on her first skill, which is into missile, deals damage based on its max HP on enemies within the area, grants damage dealt down, and grants revoke with a certain chance. I think this skill is pretty good, and especially in PvE and mainly in the rocket. I'm gonna display it in the rocket just so you guys can see what I'm talking about. But overall, this is still a pretty good tank unit to have on your team. You're just starting the game, primarily because of the damage dealt down. It's really good not just for her, but just for your team, especially if you're an Orbi or Soletta player, because she will sit in the front, she'll tank it with the defensive stance, and then with the damage dealt down, you ain't have to worry about too much of like the enemy doing too much damage to her. And then you have heat resistant light wave shield, recovers the HP of all allies within the area, removes 2 harmful effects, and grants attack up. The recovery amount is based on its max HP. So that tells you already right there that you just want this unit super duper tanky with a lot of HP. Like that's why I have it on. Have her 141,000 HP, triple energy, and also increases its crit res based on its lost HP. So as you lose more HP, take less crits, which is actually pretty cool, and also decreases the damage taken, which makes her a really good tank, especially with the defensive stance. Removes all beneficial effects whenever a beneficial effect is applied to all enemies and the team member when the battle begins in the arena and siege battle. Grants block beneficial effects with every successful removal, which is pretty good. Like I said, you can also use her in arena. I'm gonna primarily use her, show her focus in PvE, because I think she actually is pretty good in PvE. I will say one thing: this skill is kind of heavy. A five mana heal and attack up is pretty heavy. But the thing about her is that you'll never have her souling, so you don't have to pretty much worry about that. That's why, in my opinion, she's like really solid, because even though this skill is pretty expensive, if you really need it, you can swap to her when you have 5 mana, use the skill and swap out. But for the most part, you don't really have to worry about this skill being too heavy because of the fact that you won't have her souling. When it comes to artifacts, I was kind of going between purification as well as I think, yeah, it was protector. So the reason why I think purification is a bit better to use, actually, hold on, actually, to be honest with you, you can honestly use either or. I went for the purification just because it gives you a little bit more safety, because like, let's say she has more stacked debuffs on her, purification works with her passive, because she decreases critical hits used against her. So it's kind of maximizing her passive with the crit resist. When you can use protector, because it'll increase your crit resist by 30%. And on top of that is because once she uses her skill 3, which is the attack buff, which is a stackable beneficial effect, she'll increase her crit rate as well. So you can technically use both. I don't think either or is totally fine, whatever you have on you. But I kind of lean towards purification because I think that'll just keep her overall just like debuff clean, especially once she uses S3. So you don't have to worry too much about debuff stacking on her too heavily. But for the most part, like I said, either or works as far as artifacts. I think they're both good options. So going into why Rei is actually a pretty unique unit. And like I said, she's a unit where basically she's kind of like King if you were around for like the One Punch Man collab. They don't attack. They don't really attack. They just do stuff. They just do stuff to the enemies, and that's primarily what they are. King is a different situation though, because King in One Punch Man, if you know the lore, he doesn't. He's basically a top hero just off intimidation and just because he was in the right place, right time. But he's actually a really nice guy and he wouldn't hurt a fly. So that's the thing about Kane. But the thing about Rei is that she's literally just like she just sits there. So once you start attacking stuff, as you can see, she just sits there. She doesn't do anything. She just sits there. And then when she gets the defensive stat, bam, that's when she'll get her defense up. And you don't have to worry about that going away. I guess unless it's stripped. But for the most part, you don't have to worry about it. And then you have her S3, where there you see the missile, which is kind of crazy. Just seeing a missile just kind of come out of nowhere. Just boom, missile. But as you can see, the damage taken down and provoked. So now they're going to attack Rei, which is also pretty good. And then once I get 5 mana, you have the heal, you have the dome, which gives you honestly, it's just really good. It's honestly visually kind of cool, but especially this skill, just watching a missile just coming out of nowhere. But as you can see, like she's meant to just sit there and just tank. That's why I don't say put her on damage. If you want to put her on damage for the funsies, I guess sure. But I would say I think she's better just make her full tank, and then, or you could probably just do like a full tank with like try to put crit rate if you can. Like if you're looking for, because she doesn't require too much accuracy. Or I would still focus her on just like maybe just like high HP, high defense, high res. Also don't get attack speed because as you can see, yeah, she's not attacking. So try to have no attack speed in the build because it's utterly useless on her and she will never attack anyway. So let me just change the build. I'll put her on crit damage just so we can see the numbers, and with that magic, I will go to the crit damage HP build. Alrighty, so I put her on a crit damage set. As you can see, it's on HP, crit damage, HP, and then we'll just check the numbers just out of curiosity. I want a defense break. I want a defense break the target, just so I can, get some better numbers if I can. Oh man, he's fire. Let's make him water. Let's make the dummy water. There you go. Now it'll be easy to defense break him. Once my defense break is up, we'll use it. So, bam, defense break. All right, so we get the missile. That was crazy. Was that 19,000? 19,000? That's not actually a lot of damage, not gonna lie. And then we have, which S2, yeah, that doesn't really do damage. So it's just a missile. So it's 19,000. Yeah, it's not worth it. Don't do crit damage. So as you can see, this full tank is just way better. So I wouldn't even try to put her anywhere else. Just put her on full tank. That'll make it a lot easier for you. And yeah, now we're just going to content I think she's actually pretty good in. All right, for starters, you guys are just starting the game, and you guys are just coming into Summons for Chronicles. She's pretty good here in any of these raids, and to be honest with you, because of the fact that she doesn't really give you a negative effect in any of these raids, when I think about it. The only raid where she's kind of maybe a little bit weirder is Ruined Temple, so I wouldn't even use her here. You stick to the recommended. But any of these raids, she's honestly really good, especially in this raid. So if you take her into like anything like this raid where you have I don't want to do battle support. Well, I shall be with myself. So you can take her in this raid. For the most part, you're just beginning the game. You should have Perna. Period. Like non-negotiable. You 1000% should have Perna. So you can have Perna, Rei, and then pretty much almost anything else. If you are maybe if you're Kina, you may want to add like some pseudo damage, but for the most part, you can add almost anything. So I'll just add in Argon because just another form of damage. But for the most part, she does her job pretty well. Like I said, you won't have her soul linked. So that's why you don't have to worry about the high mana cost. So I have Perna Soul Linked, and pretty much you just want her to give your team the attack buff, and you also want her to just keep the enemy pretty much off you. Like if you cleave, you may not see too much use in her. You can still kind of use her because like she'll be in range of you'll be in range of her skills as a cleave player. But as you can see, like we got the attack buff, and then again I'm just nuking it because I'm just high powered. That's so. But overall, it's like she's pretty good for this raid because of the fact that it's just like you got the attack buff, you got the provoke. She'll keep everybody off you because she'll just sit in front with the defense buff, and also with the damage taken down. The bosses won't hurt her as much. So if you're a ranged character like Soletta or Orbia, you don't have to worry too much at all because like she'll literally keep everybody back, and you don't have to worry too much about the boss getting on you too hard. Now, again, this is good pretty much any raid. Like especially, I would say she's pretty much good in White Shadow Castle too because of the fact that when you're doing it with a team, you're kind of clumped. You're kind of all together, so you all get the benefit of the attack buff. So you don't have to worry about missing the attack buff for anybody. And on top of that, she can heal as well, and the heal range is pretty wide. So that's why she's pretty good in like group raids. When it comes to Bloody Waterfall, I'll show you. So I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna try to get to that point without nuking it too hard, so that way I can show you why she's pretty cool. So as you can see, we're in the raid, and like I said, like she's already doing her job pretty well because again, they just pretty much focus on her, and she's just sitting there tanking, and she's got, like I said, she got the attack buff. I think that was Nikki that did it because Nikki does give attack buff. I'm trying not to nuke the boss because I want to be able to get to the elemental phase without any problems. So I'll just get out of here. Boom. And I'll do enough damage to the boss to where he could just leave. And there you go with the heal. This is actually she's actually pretty good at raids. I'm not even gonna lie. I do like this unit in raids. I had Camilla here. I don't know why Camilla's here. I just wanted to add a non-damage dealer. Like I added all my non-damage dealers so that way the boss doesn't die, and we could just get to the phase with the elementals. All right, there he goes. So I know I said like don't soul link her, but for this phase you want to soul link her. So the reason why you want to soul link her is because of this skill right here, because you get the provoke. So as you can see, you have that right there, right? So you have the elementals that have the shields. You'll just focus on one and bam, like it'll provoke, which will take away the shield, which makes it easier for you. So that's why she's actually like pretty good in like regular in Naraka, because of the fact that a lot of people have struggled with this phase because they don't have a provoker on the team. She died. she had the bird on her. I didn't take it off. So people usually build like a water mummy, or water Frankenstein. If you already have her built, you ain't got to worry about building extra. And on top of that, you're only using water mummy and water Frankenstein in this raid anyways, so at least you have a unit to bring in that you can use elsewhere, and you don't have to worry about building the water Frankenstein and the water mummy, because they're pretty good for that part and people build it for that part. But you don't have to. You have Wind Rei, because of the fact that she has a provoke, she'll break the shields, and again she gives your team attack buff, a heal, and a cleanse, which is all pretty good. All right, next you have Arena, which she's actually pretty viable in, mainly because of the fact that again she provokes and she keeps the team off you, which is really really good. So like especially as an Orbi player, you want them off you, so she can sit there as long as possible while like pretty much my light chicken just nukes it up and ships everything. That's all I pretty much need. So she's, like you said, she's up there. She's just taking it up. She ain't dead. She's doing a really good job. Her and Camilla. Like if you have a Camilla and her, like there's it's kind of a hard wall to break down. And as you can see, she's doing her job. Like I'm just over here, I'm in the back. They can't touch me. They can't touch me at all. Like and it's overall, like I said, it's really solid. It's really solid. Like you see, she's pretty much still full health. And on top of that, she's just really solid. She's a really solid unit, and she has viability in a lot of places in the game. So if you actually pull for this unit, you won't regret it because of the fact that her viability is just overall like super solid and a lot of content. So beside, especially if you're an Orbi or a Soletta player, I think she has way more value in that sense because of the fact that she just gives you the space to like do whatever you need to do as an Orbi and Soletta player, which is pretty much like keep everything up there and you stay back there pretty safe casting your abilities. And that's why I think she's super duper good. So hopefully, guys, this guy's just to convince you that she's actually pretty good. I think she's probably my favorite so far of all the units. I'm not too hype on Shinji. I will plan on doing a Shinji video just to show you guys. I think he's like okay, but I'll get into that in that video. But I think she's super duper solid, especially for beginner players because she offers a lot of stuff that you kind of need as a beginner player, which is the survivability and just a tank. Like a tank is pretty good when you're every character but Cleave. When you're literally every character but Cleave, and she gives you a lot of stuff that you pretty much will need for the early game, and she transitions well to the mid and late game because she's pretty like she has a passive that pretty much is used for arena and siege, so she basically transitions from the early game to the mid game to the late game pretty well. You could use her in pretty much all content. So overall, I think pulling for her is really good. If you want to A15 her, there's nothing wrong. I think A15ing for her is also just really is a good idea if you want to do that. You don't have to, in my opinion. I think in A9 and you could just put her in your blessings, and just if you whatever you get for later on down the line is cool. But overall, her base stats are pretty good, so you don't have to worry about like her not being too tanky or not being tanky enough. If you want to use her like later game content, yeah, you're probably have to A15 her. But in the early game, especially with level 100 down, you don't really have to A15 her. She can survive on these stats in any content in the game. It's not too hard for her to survive. Like I said, when it comes to like siege and arena, then yeah, she may want to be like a little bit higher in the awakening level, but for the most part, A9 is pretty solid in the early game, and you don't have to pretty much go. You don't have to force her past that or prioritize her past A9. Obviously Devil Monitor because you want the defense up, and also for the two. Yeah, you want two because you want the higher chance of provoke. So the provoke is pretty solid because again keeps everybody off you and keeps everybody on her because her survivability is nuts. So yeah, that's my just review of Rei. If you are looking into playing Summons or Chronicles, I will have a link to help you download the game in the pinned comment down below. And like I said, just go ahead, comment below any type of questions you may have about Rei or just about Summons War Chronicles in general. I answer every question that's in the comment section. If you have any video idea that you want me to hit up in the future, just let me know. And yeah, hope you guys have a great day and peace out.